everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick here for another Think Tank Thursday. And as you can see, I do not have my face forward camera this evening. Be completely honest with you, I am absolutely just not presentation worthy today. I don't know if you ever feel that way. Sometimes you just don't have the ability to get your face out there. And today's kind of that day. So I hope y'all don't mind, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun anyway, so it's okay. And anyway, so yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope y'all are doing great. Thank you for joining me. I see some folks are coming in. Say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And while folks are coming in, I'll just do a little bit of quick housekeeping. We have some things going on. So, Stampin' Up! Has put out a sale for 15% off almost all of the new 2025 to 2027 in color products. And it's really exciting because the ribbons are beautiful. Of course, the ink colors are great, and the papers are amazing. And I had my coffee and card class yesterday, and we made a couple of beautiful projects using this fabulous washi tape, which, if you have not had the chance to see it yet or play with it yet, oh my goodness, it's amazing. However, unfortunately, for anyone who doesn't already have some on hand, it's unavailable right now. Yeah, that's right. It was actually on the sale as well. It was like $6 and change or something like that. Really, really inexpensive. And this stuff is absolutely amazing. And of course, everyone took advantage of it. So it is unavailable. However, I'm sure that it'll be back in stock again soon, and hopefully before the end of the month, before the sale is up, so that you might be able to take advantage of it. But if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. So I have made a couple of panels here, and there's the two different colorways with, as you can see, if I turn it around this way, you can see are the same patterns but different colorways, which is really neat. And there are a lot of them on this roll. So you can get an awful lot out of each of these rolls. And if you'd like to see the card that I designed for my coffee and card class, this is one of the two. I actually just happen to have this one sitting here next to my space because I had made a couple of extra kits, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put them together because they're so pretty. And yeah, I might, I'll use one of them for a wedding card maybe, and I'll put the others in my sale box. So anyway, you can see how I've used the little floral pieces here. I used the die from the bundle, and this is part of what makes this product so amazing. The Extraordinary Flora Stamp and Die Bundle. Can you see the similarities there? That's right. The stamp, this is one big stamp. It coordinates with the die, which also coordinates with the washi tape. So anyway, it's just really, really cool. And you can see the die is a singular piece, and it lines up just perfectly so that you can cut out all of those floral pieces all at the same time. It's just absolutely wonderful. Now, I'm getting just a little bit off course this evening because this is not at all what we're going to be doing this evening, but it's right here next to my space and I wanted to share it with you. So anyway, what is available right now though is the strawberry slush cardstock is also on that sale along with the strawberry slush ink and ribbon and markers and all the things. So you'll want to be sure to check the sale out at some point. It is while supplies are available, you know, and it goes on through the end of August. So that's fun. And then starting the 3rd of September, there will be some new online exclusives released, and I can't wait to share some of those with you. I've put my order in for the pre-order. You know, demonstrators are able to order ahead of time, generally a good month ahead, actually. And so I've put my pre-order in, and hopefully it will be here before next week's Think Tank Thursday. Otherwise, I will share some of that stuff with you the following week. Okay, so whichever. All right, for today, friends, we're going to keep it kind of simple, but I don't want you to leave me because we're still going to have fun, okay? Always have fun when we're crafting. But this is one of our newest kits. This is the Birthday Fancy Kit. And if you don't already know, it has so many cool little bits and pieces that you can turn into absolutely gorgeous cards, okay? Now, if you follow the pictures exactly, you were able to get 12 cards out of the kit, okay? We're not going to do that, obviously. We're going to do whatever the heck we want. So I am going to pull the pieces out and show you what's in here. And of course, you guys already know this. You're well versed. Stampin' Up's kits are all inclusive. And since this is a stamping based kit, it does have an inks or a acrylic block. It has an ink spot. It has the stamp set, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Uh-oh. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And then it has all of the adhesives you need as well. So we've got some bigger sized glue dots, which is really nice, the little adhesive dots. We've got some tear and tape, which is fabulous. And then we have literally the biggest sheet of dimensionals I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absolutely fabulous. I love it. So, as I mentioned, all inclusive, okay? Now, let me hold this up here and see. Maybe a colored sheet of paper would be better. Hold on just a second here. Let me grab a piece of cardstock. There we go. Okay, now we can see here. We've got time to celebrate, wishing you another year as sweet as you, for you, sweetest birthday wishes, let's eat cake, happiest birthday, and sending you happy birthday wishes. So this is the most perfect birthday kit ever. All right, let's dive in here and see what we've got. I thought maybe instead of making a card, we could make something else with the kit. Or instead of making a card like the kit suggests, we would make something else. Let's see what we can come up with, okay? If you ever wonder what these things are for, they're in the different languages because they just print this one sheet and stick them in all the kits regardless of the language. So this one right here is for our English one. If we wanted, we could cut this apart here, stick this in a clear envelope, and then this would be the cover sheet that would show us what we have. So you can see there it lines up fabulous, or we could put it behind it and we could see it up front, whatever we wanted to do with it. So that's really nice to have. I like that. All right, I'm going to set this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to set this stuff out of the way too. I don't necessarily use these pieces from the kit. I like to keep them and give them away as gifts. So I'm not going to use these. I'm going to bring out my own size D block, which you'll notice is the same size approximately in diameter, but you'll notice that there's a difference in the sides of the block. These blocks are really, really effective for using with the kit, and you can reuse them over and over again. You don't have to buy the other blocks. However, as we used to say in the Navy, however, comma, these are ergonomic blocks, and it makes it really easy to be able to put your fingers in the little grooves right here, and you're able to hang on to them a lot better. Also, if you happen to have maybe a little bit of arthritis in your hands, this little flat block is a little bit harder to hang on to than the ergonomic ones. So if you like the kits, or you like stamping, whatever, I recommend that you do eventually purchase one of these D blocks, because you'll notice right away the difference is fabulous. Okay, these really are a lot easier to hang on to. Now this one is still effective. It will still stamp. You don't have to spend any more money if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, and then I'm going to bring in my block, and I'm going to bring in my regular full-size Lost Lagoon ink. Okay, so I am going to stick with the basic supplies, so to speak. All right, but let's see what we can get into with all of this stuff. And there is a lot of goodies. You can see here. We've got a lot of stuff in this kit. So let's see what we can do with it. All right, you've got cards. You like the cards. You can make the cards, but maybe you don't want to make all of them, or maybe you want to know what else you can do with this kit besides make cards, right? Okay, I'm going to show you. All right, I'm going to show you a fun little treat package thing that I like to do that's pretty simple and relatively easy to do, and it uses just one envelope. So I think that's what we'll do. Okay, I'm going to set the other envelopes aside, and I'm going to keep this one out. But let's also take a look. As you can tell by the fact that all of my pieces are still on their little punch out negative cards, I've not opened this kit yet. I just now opened it today, so I'm really excited about it. All right, we have, let's see, we have a sheet of labels that we can use, so maybe we'll set that aside. We have some card bases, which I don't think that we're going to use, but we'll see. We've got, let's see here, 4 of the beautiful gold foil ones. We have 4 of the blue. This is Pool Party or Lost Lagoon, most likely Lost Lagoon, speckled card base. And then we have the striped ones. And you know, just as I said, we probably won't use one of these. Well, who knows? We might. So anyway, I will take it and set these aside. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't think we'll need to, because we've got these, and these are great. All right, so we've got some little punch out pieces that we can use. We have some little striped banners here. We've got some little strips. Let me bring this just a little bit closer there. Okay, there we go. And then we've got some doilies. We've got lots of little die cut pieces that we can use. We have a couple of little banners here. a lot of little die cut pieces. Now this page and this page look exactly the same, so I'm going to go ahead and put that one away, and I'll keep one out. And then we have 2 sheets of these die cut pieces. I'll keep one out and put the other away. I've got 2 of these frame pieces, and this is really cool because there's a little white frame here and there's the inside one, so that has a lot of fun possibilities. And then we have 2 pieces of these as well. So I'm going to go ahead, or 2 sheets rather. I'm going to go ahead and take this one because it's more loosely attached. And so we've got this one and a bunch of these extras here that I'm just going to lay aside and see if we can't come up with something that we might like to do. And I will tell you right off the bat, that little doily kind of sticks out at me, but we'll see. Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a little bit of scoring on this envelope. Okay. Now we have to decide how wide we want this envelope to be. Okay. If you want it to be an inch wide, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the bottom 3 sides. And the reason why we're going to do that is because it's in half, right? So if we score it at 1/2 inch here, when we pop it open, there'll be a 1/2 inch on this side of the seam and a 1/2 inch on this side of the seam, which gives you a full inch with the line in between there, okay? So we need to decide how thick we want this little pouch. And I think, honestly, 1 inch is okay. 1.5 inches is better. And let me just show you here. And actually, maybe even just, yeah, if we do 3/4 of an inch, that makes us a really good bag. So this is one that I've made before and gives you more of an idea of kind of what we're going to do here. And I've even put Velcro on this one. Of course, it doesn't have anything in it, so it's a little challenging, but you can see that it's a pretty decent sized little gift bag. And it gives you plenty of room to put some candy treats or whatever kind of thing that you want in there. So let me set this off to the side. Oh, and here's another idea. This one is very similar. Of course, you can tell I've made this one a bit wider. And this one, instead of having the Velcro, thank you, the Velcro fastener, this one just has a little tuck spot. So I can tuck it like that, and that is what closes it off. Isn't that cute? All right, so we have a couple of different options that you can see there. So for this one, let's make this one, let's make it 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take my handy dandy trimmer here, and I'm going to put my edge up to 3/4 of an inch, okay? Because remember, we're going to score half of what we want it to be ultimately, right? So let me bring that down so you guys can see it there. And there we go. I've got it at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to lightly score it to begin with because I don't want to tear it and I don't want to press holes in it. Okay, so I'm scoring all the way across the envelope flap. All right, you'll see that. And then I'm going to turn it this side and I'm going to go to the 3/4 of an inch mark again. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. Now this time I'm going to bring it down to this end just because that's not a straight edge, okay? So I'm going to come over and bring it to the 3/4 of an inch again, just like I've done before. And I'm going to give it a nice little score. Okay. All right, now you're not likely to be able to see that, but there's a score line across here, a score line across here, and a score line across here. All right. Now, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. All right. So I'm going to line it up with 3/4 of an inch again. I'm going to give it a little gentle press, especially on and near the flap, because you don't want to tear the paper. Okay. And then 3/4 on this side. All right, and then I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to line it up at 3/4 of an inch on this side. Okay. All right. Now that we have that, you want to take your bone folder and you're going to burnish all the way along the 3 sides. So I'm just going to fold it over and I'm going to burnish. Okay. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to burnish. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to fold it over and then back the opposite direction, fold and burnish. And then the last of the 3 sides, fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Okay. Now that we have that done, we're going to trim just a little bit off of our envelope flap. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to come across right here where the fold for the flap is. And I'm going to cut across that. And then I'm going to cut right on the score line that I made with the 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. So I'm going to cut along the score line I made. And then I'm going to cut right at the edge of the flap. Okay. Now then, we can pop open our envelope. And I'm going to put my finger down in the tip right here. Okay. So you can see as I'm opening it up, I'm bringing these sides down so that they'll be flat. And I'm going to bring this side down so that it's flat. And right now it kind of looks like a little fry box, doesn't it? But I'm going to take this and I'm going to line up my corners here. And then I'm just going to press that little tab. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. So I'm going to kind of gently press to line that triangle up and make sure that I'm getting nice, good points here. Okay. And then I can come in with my bone folder and give it a nice little press so that it really burnishes those edges down. Want them to be nice and flat, okay? Because the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some adhesive here and we're going to glue it down. Now you can either glue it down or you can glue it up if you want. That's entirely up to you. In fact, actually, maybe we'll glue it up this time. So let me first double, quadruple burnish that edge so it's really nice and crisp. And what that's going to do also is it's going to decrease the heft, the thickness of the little tab there. It's going to make it nice and flat so that it's not bulging at all. Okay, we don't want it to do that. We want it to be nice and flat. All right, now I'm going to take some of my multi-purpose liquid glue, and the reason I'm using this is because I really, really want it to have a good hold. All right, So I'm going to put just a little bit, and even though we want it to have a good hold, a little goes a long way. All right, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go inside the envelope, and I'm going to give it a nice little comfortable push. Okay, there you go, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Give it just a little bit of glue. Okay. And then press. Yep, just like that. All right, now we have our little gift bag. And now we can do a lot of things. This is where we decide how we want this thing to go. Generally, I like to fold it back in this direction just a little bit, right there at the edges. And I'm going to kind of come down towards the bottom to give it a little bit of a press there so that it'll lay nice and even when I close it up. Okay, so you can see I'm making that little triangle there. All right. And then we have that, and we're ready to close it up. So it might look like this. Okay, that's pretty spiffy, isn't it? Now, of course, if you want it to be open a little bit wider, we could score this at 1.5 inches from the score line, and then it would lay on top and just fold over the tiniest little bit like so. Okay, or we don't even need to score it. We can let it round over the edges of this and put a little fastener down, and it would go just like so. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of different ways that we can seal this bag up. We're not going to worry about any of that just now. We'll figure that out as we go, okay? Because what we want to do now is figure out our design. So, are you guys ready for helping out with the designing process? If you guys are new to Think Tank Thursday is a little bit different than other Facebook or YouTube live sessions you may be a party to. With Think Tank Thursday, it's very inclusive and interactive. So I will ask a variety of questions and you guys will give me answers. And of course, the majority always rules. So if I ask a this or that question, then whichever one has the most votes is the one that we go with, okay? All right, so now that I've got the core of the bag, we need to figure out how we're going to dress it up, okay? So I want to do just a little quick looking, but I don't think these are going to work for us because at this point they're too big. We could use them cut into pieces for various things, but I don't think that we need to do that. I think that we can save these for something else. So I'm just going to put those away. I will pull one of these off because maybe we want to use this. We'll see. Let's see how this goes, okay? All right. What I think... Okay. Have you guys made one of these envelope bags before, by the way? While I'm popping out pieces and thinking of where my mind's going to go next, have you made one of these kind of envelope bags before? If you have, leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear who all has made little bags with envelopes before. They're a lot of fun and they're super simple. And you can use any envelopes that you have laying around, which is just fabulous. Okay. Let me go ahead and pop one of these out too. I'm just kind of trying to narrow down my options a little bit and not make it so overwhelming because there are quite a few options here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take one of each of these out. And I'm hoping to see if maybe even one of you have done one of these envelope bags before, or if none of you have and this is all brand new and exciting. So let me know if you've done this. Okay, and I'll go ahead and take off some of these little pieces too. And I'm going to set them over here. All right, so let me see. How far can I set that where you can still see? All right, that's good. There we go. And hey, Miss Janie, how are you, darling? I hope you're doing well, love. We're going to be doing an alternative project with the birthday fancy kit. I know the kit is absolutely beautiful as it is, honestly, but just in case maybe somebody doesn't need another birthday card right now, but they really like the kit, we can make something else. And actually, it's nice to have a little gift box or gift bag to go along with a card, right? Okay, I think that might be too big, but it wouldn't be a bad thing if it hangs over the edge. We'll see. Maybe we like that. We'll see. Yes, darling, we do need to chat and schedule soon. Friends, I have asked Miss Janie to come and join us one time for a Think Tank Thursday, and she is so excited to join us, and I'm looking forward to it as well. So let's see here. Oh, let's pull off one of these, and then maybe a cup, and I think that'll be plenty of options for us, don't you? All right, there we go. Okay, and maybe one of these individual little plates. So let's do this one right here. Okay, there we go. I think that's plenty of options, right? Yeah, tea party decor would be so much fun. Oh ho ho, using the banner dies, the big banner dies, and decorating them up, yes. Or the Round We Go dies. Have they sold out yet? They were in the last chance list, and they would be absolutely fabulous for making a couple of little rosettes with this. Oh my gosh. And see, just like that, my head starts reeling with fabulous ideas, and I bet yours is too. And this is the wonderful thing about having a guest on Think Tank Thursday. We can come up with so much fun stuff. Okay, so I'm going to set these here, and I'm looking at my little bag, and we want to decide if we're going to make this kind of a Velcro type closure. If so, we could do like this, where we could open it this way. Or maybe we don't want to use the doily, and maybe we want to do a banner or something like that. So let's see. If I set this off to the side for just a minute, and let's decide if we want to use either a doily or maybe the banner. And let's see, if we were to do the doily, maybe we can, let me bring in one of these other little sentiment pieces here. Let's do this. Because I haven't popped any of these out. Let's do that one there, and let's do this one here. Okay, so we've got this kind of options going on. Oops, scooch out the way, please. Thank you. And I really like the idea of, I might dovetail this piece too, if we decide to go this route. Here, come here. Sometimes these little die cut pieces don't like to cooperate with my fingers. Okay, there we go. Alright, now this one we can do, let's see, how about maybe this and this. I don't want to cover up that cherry, but I really like that. It could go back there, but I don't really like that. We could go there, but that looks a little too staged, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one. I do like this though. Okay, well, let's see. We could bring it, maybe we just deal with the fact that it's going to cover it up, and then we could bring in a little bowl of cherries or something like that, huh? That could be cute. And then our little sentiment here, maybe. Or we could do something like this with a little macaron there and a couple of the little strawberries. Maybe we go like that. And the little strawberries there. Okay, so we need to decide here, friends. Do we like the idea of a doily better, or do we like the idea of a banner better? All right, so there's a couple of choices for us to start with. Do we like the doily better, or do we like a banner better? And we can change the elements a little bit. That's not a problem, but do we like the idea of a banner better, or do we like the idea of a doily better? So comment and let me know, banner or doily. All right, and if we use the banner, I think maybe these pieces, or maybe, that would even be cute right there. So we have so many cool options. And now that may be the one bad thing about this kit, is having so many options to choose from. All right, so are we going to do a banner or a doily? So if we do a doily type cover, then we're going to want to attach it to the lid, and it'll open like this. Okay. If we want to do a banner type piece, then we can make it like a little tuck or something like that. Okay. So what do you think, guys? Are we going to do banners, or are we going to do a doily? All right. I'll give you just a second to think about that. And while you're thinking, I'm going to bring out, let's see, I'm going to bring out this little sentiment pieces and figure out what we want to stamp on it. Now, one thing that I'll tell you I hate about kits, and there's nothing that can be done about it to keep it from happening, but we can fix, are these little tiny nips. I hate them. Hate them. So I just take my snips and just gently right along the edge of the paper. Nice quick little slide right there, and they come right off. And maybe that kind of thing doesn't even bother you, maybe it doesn't bother you at all. And if it doesn't, that is wonderful. I am so happy for you. I am not that person. They drive me crazy. And now I refrain from saying crazy. I was crazy once. They put me in a rubber room full of rats. Rats Well, y'all know how the song goes. Anyway, all right, let me just snip those off. How many of you just had a flashback to 1990 something in school? Oh my goodness. Or 1980 something. All right, there we go. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think I'd like to check this out first and see. So let's see what sentiment options we have. We have a Let's Eat Cake, which is so stinking cute. We have Sweetest Birthday Wishes or Time to Celebrate, which is also fabulous. So what if we did, I really like that Sweetest Birthday Wishes. I think that is so cute. So let me just grab that. Now, when you're using photopolymer stamps, you typically are going to want some kind of a semi-firm cushion underneath. This could be a magazine or whatever, a stack of paper. But if you have the Stampin' Pierce mat from Stampin' Up, this works perfectly. And all I'm going to do is lay that paper right on top of my Pierce mat. And I am going to stick with the Lost Lagoon ink. I'm going to tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. Okay. And then let's see here. I'm going to try to get it straight. Give it a nice even press. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now white with my camera is a little pain in the neck, but there we go. All right. Now then, if I'm using this one, and I think that I may want to grab some of my dimensionals. Now, I already have a sheet of dimensionals right here on my table, so I'm not going to break into that new sheet just yet. But actually, I've got the rim of this one, so let me use these. I really enjoy being able to finish off a whole sheet of dimensionals. I don't know about you, but it's incredibly satisfying to use up all the edges all the way around. Makes me so happy. Okay, here we go. And one more right there. There we are. Okay, now then, we've got that ready. Okay, we can go ahead and put, let's see here. I think we're just going to have to cover it up because that's just the way it's going to have to be. And then we can put this up, boom, boom, on dimensionals right there, I think. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take just a little bit of my multi-purpose liquid glue since I've got it open right here. And I'm focused more on the bottom part because we already know that the top part is going to hang off just a bit. So I'm not going to worry about putting glue all the way up the top. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. That's nice. All right, and then this piece will go here. Okay, and then this one we can put on dimensionals right there. And I think that we need to pop this up on 2 dimensionals, don't you? I think so. All right. So then it would go just like that. Not bad, huh? I like it. Okay. Alrighty then. You know, another thing that this kit has so many options. It's absolutely fabulous, but it doesn't have any embellishments or ribbon. And when you're making a card, you know, it doesn't necessarily need it because all the little cakes are beautiful and it's foil and, you know, it's so cute. But I really think that I think this is going to need some embellishments and ribbon also. Maybe not ribbon, maybe linen thread. Linen thread would be fabulous on here. All right, we don't want our cherry bowl to float necessarily, so we're going to put it right there. That's very cute. All right, and then I'm going to take my bolt of thread here, my linen thread. Come here, you. When it doesn't want to come like it's supposed to, just pull the edge and it slides it down a little bit. All right, let's do a little double loopy bow, okay? So what I have is I want a bit of a tail on here. I'm going to leave a tail down behind my hand here. And I'm going to make a figure 8 between my first and third fingers. And I'm going to leave that middle finger out of the way, okay? So I'm going to put my finger right there. I'm bringing the thread around the front of the middle finger. I'm wrapping it around my third finger, bringing it in front of the middle finger again, over the first finger, and then back in front of the middle finger again. So always in front of the middle finger and around this one here, back up in front, and that's where we're going to hold off. Oh, and look at that. I have a knot. I have never even seen a knot in the middle of one of these linen thread. Have you, Jamie? That's interesting. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can't untie that. And I'm going to squirrel this down just a little bit so that maybe I can use this without... Okay, I'm going to have to try that again here in a second. That's interesting. I've never actually gotten a spool of the linen thread that had a knot in it before. That's interesting. All right, let me see if I can use my little pokey tool here to unknot the knot. It's a pretty good knot though. So we'll see. Trying not to poke my finger and make it bleed either because that's never fun. Okay. So anyway, folks, while I'm de-knotting the knot, which I did not expect to have to do, how's everybody doing? What are you guys up to this evening? Y'all are being awfully quiet in the chat tonight. You guys must be feeling a little bit too, huh? I don't know. You know, sometimes, and for no reason whatsoever, you know, life isn't bad. Life isn't, you know, any different than it normally is. And, you know, we've got it pretty good, honestly. We're not in a third world country. We have electricity. We've got running water. We've got a roof over our head. You know, life is pretty good. But now and then, you just sometimes feel a little blah. And that's pretty much me today. So I've been trying to keep busy and keep getting work done, but it's been kind of a struggle today. And just like this knot, it's just been a little bit of a struggle. Now, I may just go ahead and cut this out because it is really in there good. I'm trying not to be a quitter and give up on it, but but it is pretty good. And You know, if I weren't live, I would sit here and, especially today, waste 20 minutes trying to get this knot undone. But I know you guys don't want to be watching 20 minutes worth of knot untying. So let's just give it one last ditch effort to say we did. And it looks like it might be coming loose, but if we can't get it here, we're gonna call it done and we'll just cut it out. Okay. So it actually does look like it's coming loose. So give me just a second here. Let me get right in there with it. There we go. Yes. Yay! It's a small victory today, but we'll take it. Look at that. Okay. All right, then. I'm going to let that piece be my little tail down here. Okay. And we're going to go about this again. All right. So we've got a little bit of a tail down here. We're going to do a figure 8 between the first and the third finger. So over the first finger, around the front of the middle finger. We're going to go around and behind the third finger, up and over the front, around the third, and then there we have our thread. Now I need just a little bit more, if you please. There we go. Okay, so I have 2 loops and a tail over this finger, and I have 2 loops and a tail over this finger. Okay, that's how you know you've done it right. I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to tuck it in between my fingers and pull the tail around the edge and pull it snug. Not too tight because I still have my loops here. Okay, and then I'm going to tie my tails one over the other. Give it a nice little tug, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to carefully slide it off my fingers. All right. Now, this is the point where I tell you to be wary about pulling on your little tails because it's just looped around in there. So if you pull too much, you will pull your loops straight out of the knot. Okay, so just be really careful when you're tugging on it, and you'll kind of notice you can pull a little bit on this one and it'll take you a little bit on this one, etc. Just give it a tiny little tug, but don't play with it too much because when you start playing with it, it starts to look wonky. Okay, so just let it be what it's going to be. All right, I'm going to grab a glue dot here. Okay, and I think it needs to go right there. So I'm going to put this little glue dot right there in that cubby. All right, and then I'll put this piece down with the knot right there. Okay. And then I'm going to take my snips and just a little trim. All right, get those out of our way. Okay, now as I had mentioned, we're going to have to make this attached to the flap rather than the base because of how big our doily is, okay? So we're going to put that doily up on dimensionals because why not? And then we'll worry about putting Velcro dots and things on our bag, okay? So what I want to do is I want to go right about here. I'm going to put dimensionals along the bottom of the flap edge, and then I'll put dimensionals along the top edge, like 3 of them here. Okay, so I'm going to put my finger underneath here. And I'll put, let's see, one here, and then one here, and I'm putting them kind of close because, you know, I've got the others that are going to be right here on the flap. So let's do one, and I think I can get away with 3. I'm just putting my doily behind there just to give me an idea of spacing for the dimensionals. So that's a fun little trick for you, so that you don't have to worry about getting too far out of the way. All right, now let me grab the backs off of these. And I'll do the backs off of this one. Okay, and there we go. Let's make sure we're straight. That's the next critical thing. Hold on, friend. There we go. Okay. All right, now then, I get my little fastener dots from the Dollar Tree. And I absolutely love them. They are fantastic. And for $1.25, you get a whole bunch of them, right? So if you want to know where I get my Velcro dots, that's where I get them. And on the adhesive sheet, you notice that they are adhesive backed. There's one side that has the scratchies and one side that has the softies. I go ahead and kind of work them together. I just fold it right in half and give them a little kind of like this, rubbing them together a little bit so that they stick together. Okay. And then I'm going to need 2 sets, so I'll just cut it right there. I'm going to put the other 3 back in the box so that I have them for later. I'm going to cut this one apart. Notice that I've still got the backing on them right now, okay? So this makes it wonderful. All right, now, it doesn't matter which one you put which way, I don't think. If it does, I never knew, so I never bothered, but I do make sure that I have the scratchy ones on the same, either the flap or the base, whichever. So, but that doesn't even really matter if you don't care. I care, but you don't have to. Okay, so I'm going to put these right here at the base of the flap where the stickum is, okay? And I'm going to put the scratchy side on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it. I know that's a crazy thing. If you don't want to eyeball it, use some form of measure. You can go like this. Okay, I'm going to use my thumb. No, let me use my pinky finger. I'll use my pinky finger and I'll put it right there, okay? Or whatever you want to use, okay? Whatever unit of measure. So if I want to do it this way, you know, you get the idea. And then I'm going to put it right near the edge. I'm not going to put it on the edge because, you know, you don't want it to show. All right, and then I'm going to take this one. Let me see which is the scratchy side. That's that one. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, there's that, and it's just slightly off of the top. There we go. I think that's pretty darn good. I'm going to give it a really, really nice press. Okay. And then you just peel the backing off. Just like that. Close our bag and give it a good press. Okay, there we go. All right, and so there we have a nice little treat bag that can be opened and closed again and again. And you could hear those buggers are really strong, aren't they? and you can put all kinds of things in there. In fact, could I put, hmm, well, with a little bit of love, yes, it would bulge just a tiny bit, as you could see there, just a little tiny bit. But yes, you could indeed put a roll of that washi tape in here. Or you could put, let's see, here's a bottle of multi-purpose liquid glue plus some candies, which I don't have on hand for whatever reason, unknown to me. Um, let's see, what else could you put? I have some of these Intamin's mini snack cakes. That would fit perfectly as well. That one, hold on, let me turn it sideways. The wrapper's a little bit high on that one. Uh, there we go. So it'll fit, but it bulges just a little bit too. However, it's still a very cute little gift box or gift bag. So there you go. You've got some ideas for things that you can put inside here. And it's absolutely adorable. I think it is so stinking cute. And I hope that you guys like it as well. This is really, really sweet. And now that I've got it out, I don't know, maybe I'll play with it a little bit and make that banner that I was talking about earlier. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you all so very much for hanging out with me this evening for another Think Tank Thursday. I hope that you all are having a wonderful week. And for those who are doing the whole back to school thing, I hope that everyone is getting situated and settled, and your kiddos are loving their first days of school. And yeah, so anyway, this would be a super fun little treat thing for a classroom. You know, you could do Halloween stuff with different elements here and the regular white envelopes or whatever. So anyway, lots of fun things that you can do with them. And so I hope that you guys have a fabulous day and a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And until next time, my friends, I will talk to you later.